What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? Happy whenever you're watching this. If you're watching it live, happy Saturday night.
We're here. We're back.
We're here. We're back.
For another episode of Have a Conversation After Dark. This is a conversation that the two of us have in front of you in hopes that it will spark conversation between you and your mate. Because we say this at the beginning and the end of every show, which is that conversation is a catalyst for
growth.
Conversation is a catalyst for
bonding.
And conversation is a catalyst for
learning.
We hope that you want to grow with your spouse. We hope you want to bond with your spouse. And we hope that you want to learn more about your spouse. Or grow, whichever one I didn't say.
Growth, bonding, learning. Yeah.
So that's all this is about. That's it. It's not an advice show. We put that disclaimer out there. If you want an advice show, you need to come check out our other show, which is Inside the Relationship. Preferably go to YouTube to find that. Inside the Relationship is an advice show, and those shows are incredible.
Incredible.
Period. And I'm not saying that because it's us. I'm saying it because it's good info. Sometimes it's just us. Sometimes we have guests. It's just great stuff. And it's free. And you can't beat that.
Can't beat free.
And, you know, that's what a lot of people are looking for these days anyway. So go get that information.
Can't beat free. Good stuff. Good
This,
stuff.
however, is just a conversation because what we have experienced, what we've come to learn in our experience as coaches is that there are so many things that people deal with in their relationships that they have never talked about.
Right. Including us.
Including us. They have never talked about it. Right. So before we get into tonight's topic, here's what we want you to do. It was on the bottom of the screen. If you're watching now or if you're watching the replay, it doesn't matter when you're watching. Can you just tap the share button? Share it with your network. Doesn't take anything to do that. Takes 2 seconds. Hit the share button. Share it with a couple people. That's it. That's all we want you to do.
That's all we want you to do.
And the other thing is jump in the conversation. Because just because we're talking doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. So jump in the conversation. Put your comments in so we can hear from you. All right. So here's tonight's topic. Tonight's topic is
He or she wants it all the time, and I don't.
talking about desire discrepancy. And believe it or not, um, differences in sexual desire
Hmm.
is, I'm not going to say it's the most common because I don't believe that,
But it is
but
quite
it is
common.
one of the most common issues that couples face
Yeah.
as it relates to growing their intimacy.
Yeah.
Is one person wants it, whether it's the wife or the husband. Now, often when we hear this, we immediately think about the husband wanting sex more because that's usually what is put out front.
But it's not
But
always.
there are, and I meant to put the statistics up, but I don't have it. There are a significant number of women who have greater desire than
Hmm.
their husbands,
Hmm.
who have the higher libido, right?
Yep.
So the question that we ask every time we bring something to you on Saturday night is, have you if this is an issue, have you talked about this with your mate?
Hmm.
Now, in some of the couples that we've had the privilege to serve, and that becomes an issue, and we see that that's an issue, 9 times out of 10, they have not talked about
They
it.
have not. They have not talked. Well,
Or
yeah.
what were you going to say?
Well, and yeah, you're right. Well, maybe not 9 times out of 10 in this for this topic.
Okay. I was going to say, or even if it's not 9 times out of 10, it's high. It's a high percentage. If it's not 9, it's 8. I don't think it's any lower than that. But I don't know. We had to go back and look at the tape to see. But here it is. Either they're not talking about it, or when the subject comes up, like us, when the subject comes up, it's a conversation born out of frustration.
Yeah, so it's more of a conflict
Right.
conversation. It's not like a what can we do about, well, it is what can we do about this, but it's more conflict
Right.
than
It's
it
more
is.
confrontational than it is. And if you looked at the show description, some of the questions we asked in the show description is, does your spouse know
Mhm.
how important sex is to you? Does your spouse know why sex is that important to you?
Right.
When the conversation is born out of frustration, that's not the stuff we're talking about.
No.
I'm just upset because it's been a few days
Yeah.
and I'm pulling my hair out, and you don't look like you pulling your hair out. It don't even look like you care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can say that because that was me.
We've been there.
That's what is. So if I'm going to go talk to her about this, because this is something, and people who follow us, if you've never followed us before, this is not new revelation. We talk about ourselves all the time. So if you follow us, you know we've already talked about the struggles we had with the desire discrepancy in our early in our marriage. If I'm coming to her about this, we're not having a conversation that looks like, oh, this is why sex is important to me.
Yeah.
This is, man, this is what I'm feeling about, this is what I think, this is what I'm frustrated about. This,
Yeah.
no. I'm like, hey, what's the problem?
Exactly.
Now,
Those were your exact
now,
words.
the wonderful, lovely, gracious, beautiful
Hmm.
woman that you see here,
Hmm.
this is gonna sound bad. Let me see. How can I say it a different way? What I was gonna say is she ain't always like that, but that's not the right way to say that.
Well, it's true.
Don't be fooled. That's how I'm gonna say it. Don't be fooled. She ain't a pushover,
That I'm not.
and I can't talk to her anyhow.
You cannot.
Now that's vice versa. She can't talk to me anyhow either. But
Correct.
let's be clear. If I'm coming to her out of frustration, she's not like, "Oh, listen, babe, let's pull
You're
back. Let's talk
frustrated.
about this." No, no,
Let's
no.
talk about it.
No. That's not what's happening. So, you can imagine what those desire discrepancy conversations were like. Now,
And I think that I should I'm willing to bet. Let me put it that way.
mhm,
that most conversations about this are confrontational
Yep.
and are the way that it went
Hmm.
for us.
And we're basing this off of, as it relates to conversations being confrontation, we're basing this off of the clientele that we've had the privilege to serve.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the clientele, once they bring that up as an issue, it is out of frustration.
A lot of times, the reason why
Hmm.
they're requesting our services is because
Is
of that.
because they can't manage the frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, it's not an advice show, but I'm gonna say this: if you're going to have a conversation, number one, you should have a conversation. Like,
Yeah.
let's just put that out on the table
Mm-hmm.
from jump. You should be having a conversation about anything and everything. There is, I don't believe, this is my belief. I don't believe that there is anything, excuse me, that you should not be able to talk to your spouse about.
Agreed.
Now we can do this dance about whether you should say something and whether you shouldn't. That's a whole nother conversation. But the opportunity,
You should be able
right?
to, though.
Yeah, the opportunity should never be
Whether you do or
not present.
don't, you should be
Yeah.
able to.
And if you're gonna have this conversation, you should probably not have this conversation with the undertone of frustration, even though frustration will be present. I'm not saying frustration will not be present, because
Yeah.
if you have a high sex drive and you haven't had sex in a long time, you are going to be frustrated.
It's not don't be frustrated. It's don't let frustration drive the
Drive the
conversation.
conversation. Right.
Yeah.
So we're this is going to be in hindsight for us.
Mm-hmm.
How should I, and I'm saying I because in this case I was the one with the higher drive.
Mm-hmm.
How should I now approach you? Let's say we're having this conversation. What does that conversation look like?
I think that um atmosphere makes a difference.
Okay.
Like before for you, it was when it wasn't happening, it was what's the problem? Anytime you felt like voicing your frustration, it was anytime, anywhere.
Hmm.
What's the problem? But I think that, like we always say, tone, timing, and temperature,
Hmm.
I think that is important to keep in mind. And so I think that for me, I would have preferred back then if we were to, like, sit down and talk about it and you led with I love it when we're intimate together.
Hmm.
And here's why.
Hmm.
This is what it does for me.
Hmm.
This is what I miss about you. This is what I enjoy about us. And it was never that.
Hmm.
When we would have these conversations, it was just always you barking, what's the problem to
Hmm.
me?
Right.
And so I think if you would have gone about it that way,
Hmm.
explaining first why it's important, what it does to you, that is the way that you, probably most men, are one of the ways that you are emotionally connected
Hmm.
to me.
Yeah.
And that's why you needed it
Hmm.
as much as you did.
And
If you would have gone about it that way, it would have made me have to think more about what I was not doing for you.
right. Um, there is, and I don't remember when it was, so you're gonna have to go subscribe to our YouTube channel and just go through the videos, the early videos. There is a recorded conversation of us talking about this,
Mm-hmm.
and I had matured a little bit and was able to tell you what it meant to me and give you an illustration.
The game thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The gaming illustration. So that is a recorded video somewhere on YouTube. If you go to our YouTube channel, shameless plug, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. You should already be subscribed.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's just keep it a buck.
And you
If
are,
you ain't subscribed,
yeah, but
you should already be subscribed. So,
and in that video you explained to me, like you said, you likened it to the 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 box, the life
mhm,
boxes in these games,
mhm,
and how when you're playing these games, like, I don't know, maybe a shooting game or something, I don't know, like, I don't know, you
mhm,
lose life and then you can go to one of these boxes
mhm,
and get more life, and that you can see the meter like increase,
mhm,
showing that your life has been replenished.
mhm.
And sometimes, well, I don't know why I'm telling it.
You
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 can tell
yeah,
it.
you on you saying you exactly. You're good.
Okay.
You're 100%.
And sometimes that life box, when you get life from that box, it fills you all the way back up
Mhm,
to where you're good.
mhm,
But sometimes there was so little life in you to begin with
mhm,
that when you get this life from the life box, it's not enough to fill you all the way back up, and it
mhm,
may only fill you up a little bit, or halfway,
mhm.
or three-quarters of the way.
Yep.
Then that's how you explained it to me, as far as us and sex. If it's happening on a regular basis, then your sex life is
Mhm,
good.
mhm.
But if it's like more spread out, the times that it does happen is not enough to fulfill you all the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was after a little while of butting heads around
Yeah.
this because of my approach. Now, let me go back a little bit. Before you even can have, and I said this one going to be an advice show, but let me give you something that you need to know right now. Before you can have any kind of conversation, especially one like this, you need to create an atmosphere
Yeah.
where healthy conversation is the norm. Because if let me just say this, if you're having conversations
Mm-hmm.
and those conversations always lead to arguments and conflict,
Mm,
there is a problem
mm,
that you need to solve. And if you can't solve it by yourself, you need to come holler at us so we can help you.
mm.
But there needs to be an atmosphere where conversation, where you can go all the way through the components of a healthy
Healthy
conversation. And we're not
conversation.
going to give you what that is. Actually, that might be free somewhere. It might be out there because sometimes I slip up and give away good stuff. But you need to be able to go through the components of a healthy conversation all the way through in order for that conversation to be successful.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, you can't talk about this because that's definitely not going to be successful
Yeah.
because there's already going to be some level of frustration.
Mm-hmm.
There's already going to be some level of unmet expectations. There's already going to be some level
The
of
other person being defensive.
defensiveness, right? And disappointment
Mm-hmm.
and anxiety
Yeah.
and uh, insecurity, and the list goes on and on. That's kind of tied to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't already have an atmosphere where conversation is a catalyst for learning, growth, and bonding,
Bonding.
you ain't gonna never get through this conversation right. That's just my little disclaimer, 2 cents. And maybe we should throw this in real quick. If you want help with that, we got an easy way for you to get help with that. Now, we're coaches, and if you want to coach with us one on one, you're gonna pay a price to coach with us one on one, and everybody can't pay that price, and that's cool. But here's a way that you can actually get a lot of that information for the cost of a couple beef patties. And how you can do that is you can go to the Denali community. So if you go to denali community.com, there's an opportunity for you to jump in a space that has a very minimal monthly fee where we will give you a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So
So,
get in there and get that. There's also a course that you can take. We've taken our group coaching experience and we have put it in a course. I was going to say we truncated, but we didn't. We actually added to it
mm-hmm.
and made it a course that you can do on your own with you and your spouse or by yourself. So go over to denaliCommunity.com and check out the options that are over there for you. Now, if you want one-on-one coaching, obviously we're available to do that as well, and you can schedule a discovery call for that. So you gotta have an atmosphere, and like you said, we didn't have that atmosphere because I wasn't thinking about tone, time, or temperature.
No.
I was just coming to you after. So here's what would happen, and we'll see if anybody who's listening can relate to this. What would happen for me is I would try to just, what's the word? I'd try to just bogart my way through how I was feeling. So let's say
Mm.
I can't think of a long time period, but let's say it's been 7 days,
Okay.
right? Um, or let's say the time period is 7 days, right? By day two, I'm like, I ain't whatever. I'm just gonna bust through the brick wall of however I'm feeling. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but whatever, right? I try to psych myself out. Day four, I'm getting a little, I'm just kind of breathing heavy at that point. Day four, right? Just big sighs, right? Day six, I'm like, I'm flipping out in my mind. Day six, and day seven, I can't hold it no more. So day
Yeah.
seven, all of that was building up through all those days,
You blew a gasket.
right, comes out. And I don't know how that works with y'all, but that don't work with this one.
No.
So now she's reacting she's not processing what I'm saying to her. She's reacting to how I'm coming at her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now we're back and forth, not about the fact that I would like to have sex, but the fact that
How you came
we
at
don't
me.
we just coming at each other crazy at this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
right?
So the actual issue is never being addressed.
It's not being
at
addressed.
this point.
Right.
We're just reacting to each other's reaction.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, praise the Lord, we can have a conversation about anything
Mm.
and it not go into conflict. Matter of fact, we just did a video recently where
Yeah.
you were a little,
Tuesday.
I'm gonna blame you for what happened.
No, I
I'm
will
just
not.
messing.
No.
I'm just
No.
you gotta go watch the video. I'm not even gonna talk about what it was. But anyway, the point that's being made is that you got to get to a place where you can talk about this stuff, because what happens when you don't is frustration builds up. Frustration turns into resentment. Resentment is a very big hole to dig out of.
Yeah. So finally having that conversation
Mm-hmm.
helped me understand your needs better.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be honest, before I was thinking more along the lines of this dude is.
You thought I was Eric Benet.
I really thought you had Eric Benet issues.
Yeah.
I did. Like,
and listen, let's shout out to Eric Benet. It's okay if you. Well, no, I'm not gonna say it's okay.
it is not okay.
Let me say what I was gonna say. So for those of you who don't know the Eric Benet inside joke, there was a time I think that it had come out in media that Eric Benet had a sex addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even say that word. Sex addiction, right? That's a whole nother ball of wax, whole nother issue. It's not a joke. It's nothing funny about it.
Correct.
But the point that was being made with the Eric Benet thing is that I just wanted it for the sake of wanting it. And I wanted it for the sake of fulfilling one-dimensional, self-serving desires.
So that was my thought.
Right.
So I had that thought
Mm-hmm.
along with trying to, deal with my own issues
Mm-hmm.
of what's wrong with me? Why don't I want it as much as him?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to come to terms with this is a different relationship. This is not your past type
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all of that, plus the fact that I'm thinking that my husband is a sex addict,
Mm-hmm.
and that was just a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot for me. and you. I know it was a lot for you, but it's a lot for me too.
It was. It was.
Because here's the thing, and this is the stuff you don't know when
Hmm.
you don't have the right conversation or any conversation at all,
Yeah.
right? You don't know what the other person's dealing with
Yeah. Or even thinking
or
sometimes.
thinking about.
Hmm.
You don't know what might be an insecurity or what might be an attachment style issue or what
Hmm.
might be an anxiety around this. You don't know that.
Yeah.
And you don't know that until you actually sit down and open up with each other and say, hey, man, this is why it's important to me. What's happening with you? Help me
Right.
understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And until we had that conversation, it was just this. And this don't help you have sex.
Does not.
Like, let's be clear. Trying to have more sex doing this is oxymoronish.
Yeah.
I know that ain't a word, but you get what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So you got to have that conversation. I think it's important to have that conversation. It's important to have a whole lot of conversations. If you're a fan of this show, if you are a supporter, I should say, of this show, you know that we've brought on Saturday nights a plethora of topics that you should be having conversations about, or you should at least know where your spouse stands.
I always say about conversations, like, I always say, leave nothing to chance.
Mm-hmm,
If your spouse needed to hear it, great. You had the conversation.
mm-hmm,
You all are all the better for it.
mm-hmm,
If it was no big deal to your spouse and they didn't really need to hear it, then hey,
mm-hmm.
nothing's lost. At least you put it out there and now you know.
Yep. And
So
then some.
it's better to have all of the conversations and talk about everything and leave nothing to chance.
Yeah,
What's the worst that could happen?
yeah. The worst that could happen is that you learn something about each other,
Which is not the
which is the
worst.
greatest thing that could happen. And then you leverage that stuff that you learn, right?
Hmm.
So in this situation where it's one person wants sex more than the other, you have to have that conversation because there's things you got to learn about each other, right?
Yeah.
And then as you learn that, you can craft strategy around it.
Right.
So something I told, and this from our conversation with this, because for those of you who might be jumping in and out, this is something that we dealt with early in our marriage. There was something that I told my wife, and it was freeing for me, and I think it was freeing for her as well. And the thing that I told her was, sometimes it's not so much about having sex. This is me talking. I'm not saying this is everybody's thing. This is
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's not so much about me having sex as much as me knowing you want me.
Correct. Yeah.
So if for some reason there has to be this 7-day period, I might, I just might make it through that 7-day period knowing that you want me.
Hmm.
I might. I might.
Yeah.
Now, there's more to that, but the point I'm making is that, and remember what you're going to say, the point I'm making is that you don't know how to craft strategy until you talk about it.
You don't know how to craft
Yeah, you don't know
strategy.
how to craft strategy until you talk about it, because then when you talk about it, there's some things that you'll learn about each other.
Hmm.
And then you'll be able to use that to craft strategy. So now, if I'm saying to you, hey, listen, you know what? Part of the frustration is that not only is it 7 days, but it don't even seem like you even want me.
Right.
Can we kind of start there?
Yeah.
Right. And now we
Hmm.
can craft strategy around starting there.
Yeah.
So you got to have the conversation in order for that to take place.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I can't remember exactly what I was going to say, but we talked about this
Mm-hmm.
before, as far as um you knowing that I want you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would it be enough for, see, the thing is, I want you,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how to say this. I think that it just depends on, like you saying, as long as you know that I want you,
Mm-hmm.
you're okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or kind of okay with it. But what if it is though that, I want you, but I'm just not up to it right now. Sometimes I think, and I think we talked about this before, you take it personally.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So there's that.
Well, you got to talk through that too. So if I take it personally,
Hmm.
now the question becomes, hey, what's going on with you? Why are you taking it that way?
Because even if me, we, whomever says, not tonight, maybe tomorrow,
Hmm.
sometimes that is taken so personally and it really may not necessarily have anything to do with you.
Yeah, I agree with that. We talked about this on another Saturday night show where we talked about rejection, right?
Yes.
Because now there are you that isn't that's a real issue, right?
Yeah.
So if and it depends on the person. This is why you got to have the conversation, right? So if you want to have sex with your spouse and they are saying no, or I got a headache, or not tonight, or I'm gonna give you a rain check, that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
Now, here's where the conversation comes in. If that's happening consistently, then Oliver is going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Now, the Oliver of old would not ask that question probably the right way.
Yeah.
I've gotten better at how I would ask a question like that. But that still needs to be brought up
Hmm.
because that will feel like rejection. And that will feel like, okay, you're saying one thing and you're not following through.
So would it be better then if the person doesn't say, yes, I do want you, but maybe next time because I got something going on, I got too much on my mind. I wouldn't be able to do it justice type thing. Would it be better? What's better, to say it like that or to just flat out say, not tonight, maybe tomorrow, without giving the background explanation?
I think it depends on the person, and which is why you got to know your spouse. Like this can't be the conversation that you decide to try to figure out who your spouse is. Like this ain't the right conversation to
Yeah.
do that. You got to already, like we said earlier, you got to already create an environment where conversation can happen,
Yeah.
and it's already a catalyst for growth. It's already a catalyst for learning. It's already a catalyst for bonding.
Yeah.
So that when you approach this, you already know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So you know, and you know how they like to be communicated to.
Yeah.
You know what's going to get through, right? This can't be the test conversation.
Right.
Trust us on that. It don't work.
Mm,
I tried. It don't work. It don't work well. Let's put it that
it
way,
doesn't
right?
work well.
But to answer your question, though, I think that it's better to tell the truth because I think that causes problems too when you don't tell the truth. So it's better to be like, hey, babe, listen, I'm not rejecting you. I am, and then whatever it is you are.
Yeah.
I'm not in the right headspace. I'm not this, whatever the case is, right? And then maybe to just add on something nice and sweet, just give them some level of reassurance in the way you know they receive it.
Right. That's good.
So if they're a physical touch person, hey, listen, babe, to, man, the day I've had, all I can really focus on right now is laying down in the bed. Come here, let me give you a hug. Let me give you a kiss. Listen, I'm with you, and wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I
Yeah.
got you.
Yep. 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 I like
Ain't
that.
gonna be no fuss.
Yeah.
Oliver
I
will
like
take that all day. But don't be like, oh, I just can't deal with it right now. What? Now I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a different, you know what I'm saying? That's different.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I got
so
you.
yeah. So I think it's an important conversation. Um, for those of you who are watching, people who are kind of jumping in and out, or you're watching the replay, is this a conversation that you have had with your mate? Or if it's not an issue, then obviously I guess there's no conversation to be had. But for a lot of couples, desire discrepancy is an issue
It
where one
is.
person wants sex more than the other.
Mhm.
One person feels rejected for one reason or another. One person feels pressured for one reason or another. There's this
Yeah.
whole dance. And our experience with the couples that we've had the privilege of coaching who have had this is that they've never talked about it.
Right.
So All we're doing is throwing, like we do every Saturday night, is throwing a topic out on the table so y'all can chop it up about it,
Yeah.
especially if you've never talked about it before.
Yeah. It's a pretty common thing.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
pretty common thing, and I think that it would be really good if people had the tools to be able to have the conversation about it
Yeah.
well.
Here's where you can get the tools. Shameless plug. Get into the Denali community and you'll get the tools. They're there. DenaliCommunity.com.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So that's it. That's what we do every Saturday night. We throw something in front of you. We chop it up. Sometimes these conversations you get to hear us have them in real time because we ourselves, like, we're not perfect. There are some of these shows, if you go back and watch, I forgot how many we said we've done so far, a lot.
yeah.
But if you go back and watch some of these, there are some of these topics we ourselves have not talked about before. And we talk about it right there in front of you. This one we have talked about before because this is something that came up early in our marriage. And here's what's interesting about now being able to have that conversation. Well, is that now we're in a season of marriage where menopause contributes to that again,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so now, having gone through that in the beginning for different reasons,
Yeah.
now allows us to navigate this
A little
way
better.
better.
Yeah. Oh, you said I
I
said a little
I
better.
think
You said
for
way better.
me way better.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And we have the right words.
Right.
We have the conversation that needs to be had,
Yeah.
and when to have it, how to have it,
Mm-hmm.
what to say, what not to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So,
and let me put this out there. This is a totally different conversation. Let me just put that disclaimer out. It's related, but it's totally different. You also have to get to a place where you know how to try to choose my words carefully. You know how to create an intimate experience out of nothing.
go on.
I tried to say that as carefully as I can because I don't want to offend anybody. You have to growth in your intimacy is learning how part of growth is learning how to create intimate, did I say experiences? I don't remember the word I even used just
Yeah.
now, but to create sexually intimate experiences out of nothing. Here's what I mean by that. There are times where you just might not feel some kind of way.
Hmm.
There are times where you don't feel hot and heavy. There are times where it's not going to be HBO and Cinemax sex where you lock eyes and all of a sudden you open the door and kick the door shut with your foot and start taking each other's clothes. Like it don't always happen like
It
that.
doesn't.
But that is not an excuse to not do nothing.
Anything. Yeah.
So you might have to push through that
Hmm.
and just go lay down and cuddle and just tell each other how much you love each other and how you feel and allow things to progress. And as things progress, you may heat up.
I'm telling you. I am telling you. I am telling you. I think it was. No, was it Sheila? No, it wasn't Sheila Gregoire. It was, I think, Tammy.
Tammy Hill.
Tammy Hill.
Mm-hmm.
She's a therapist, a sex therapist. She said about women. I think she was talking about only women, but I don't know. Maybe it goes both ways. But I know women for sure. Me for sure. A lot of the time, half of the time, maybe a quarter of the time, I'm not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
there initially.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not hot and heavy in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I could easily say, babe, maybe tomorrow I'm not in the mood.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, because I know, I can't just keep saying maybe tomorrow because I'm not in the mood.
Mm-hmm.
I just go with it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you,
Yep.
it turns on. It
And it
may
don't
not
take
be
that long.
it doesn't it may not turn it may not be there in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go with it, for me, if I go with it and just keep going, fireworks, we're good.
And that is why you gotta talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't talk about it, you can't craft strategy around something you don't know.
But it's just not always going to be there in the beginning, from especially now with menopause and when it was perimenopause for me,
Mm-hmm.
especially now
Yeah.
at this season in my life. I can't wait until I feel like it already. Sometimes he got to do some extra priming. It's just you just got to go with it sometimes. So there's that.
Shout out to Daniel in the comments. Daniel said, joined the Denali community last night and we've already completed Marriage Toolkit Challenge. Day one,
Oh,
nail
that's so
down your needs.
great.
Most of our needs centered around better communication, more expression of affection, help with the house chores as love language, respect, prioritizing weekly, many unplanned date nights, and monthly
Yay.
planned date nights. We plan on doing one challenge a week
Oh,
and working on it. Looking forward
so
to day
great.
two.
That's
Shout out to you, man.
awesome, Daniel.
Man, that means a lot, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's so great. We're so
Daniel,
happy for
yeah,
you
we're
and your
thank you
wife.
for being a part of that. And we have some live stuff we're going to be doing in the community soon. So be on the lookout for that. We're actually
Yeah.
going to do we're going to jump on live stream and if everybody whoever is available to jump on can do that as well.
That is
So we can
awesome.
do some back and forth and do some, some coaching right there on the spot and
Right.
that kind of thing. So man, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining, and we hope that this is really beneficial to you.
That means a great deal. Just
Yeah.
look out for more stuff. Matter of fact, I'm dropping something in there this week. So I'm dropping something this week for the community. So be on the lookout for that.
That's great.
So thanks for all you do. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's all this is about. Is just this show. We want you to have conversation. That's it. We want you to get in the habit of, before you go to attack your spouse, before you create a narrative around your spouse, before you make an assumption, before you react to a story that you created in your own head.
Yeah. Yep.
Just go talk about it.
Talk about it.
Just go talk about
Those stories we create in our minds, boy, that will have us mad at our spouses
It will.
for no reason, for something that never happened and and would not have happened.
And they probably ain't even thinking that way.
Probably not even.
Now sometimes they
way.
are, and that's a different conversation. We can work through that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not. It's like if we're talking about this desire discrepancy subject, I will admit to you that I still do this to this day, not about this topic, but this is just my personality. If I sit with something too long without talking about it, I start thinking,
conjure up all types of
I start putting my own pieces together. I do that now to this day.
Yeah.
And not just about this topic, but I'm just saying in life, that's just something that I'm working on. So because I know that, I don't sit with stuff long. She will tell you, it may be a day.
Yeah.
And I'm coming to her like, hey, listen, I was thinking about, or what often happens is, like I did last night, and this was something spiritual last night. I was talking to her about just some spiritual growth that I'm kind of working through. Sometimes it'll happen in the bed when we get in the bed. So we get in the bed, I'll lay down and after, a few minutes, I'll be like, babe, you know what? Blah, 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 blah. Because if I don't do that, then Oliver Marcel, will sit with it too long.
Yeah.
And if I sit with it too long, that could be dangerous. And so just talk about it, guys. Like, this is something you can talk through. And let's say you get to a point in the conversation where you just can't, there's a hump you can't get over. Don't just walk away from it.
Yeah, like, oh, we came to this. How do we get around this? Never mind.
Yeah, don't walk away from it.
This is there. Let's go back. No.
You can contact us, or it don't have to be us. Find your favorite coach. Find your favorite therapist.
Hmm.
Find your whatever, who the person you're comfortable with, and go make an appointment with them.
Yeah,
Because you don't have to fight through it on your own
you
if
do
you
not.
don't know how to.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all we got for you today, man. Have that conversation.
Mhm.
Again, for those of you who are jumping in and out tonight, we were talking about the fact that he or she wants it all the time, and it being sex wants it all the time, and I don't. Is that a conversation that you have had? Is that an issue that you're going through that you need to have a conversation about? If it is, you need to have the conversation. If you want help with that conversation, you can definitely holler at us. You can go to our YouTube channel. You can go to other people's YouTube channel who talk about this. There's so many people out there that have good information
Yeah.
about sexual intimacy and navigating the growth and the challenges and growing pains that happen
Hmm.
in that space. So just make sure you're getting in enough information that you can have this conversation, and you're creating an atmosphere with your spouse that allows you to have these conversations, because we say this all the time at the beginning, at the end. Conversation is a catalyst for
Growth,
conversation is a catalyst for
bonding,
and conversation is a catalyst for.
learning.
We hope you want to grow with your spouse. We hope you want to bond with your spouse. And we hope you want to learn more about your spouse. So,
I would say too that this, I just believe this with all of my heart, that this is such an issue and such a pain point in so many marriages, because the enemy knows that when we are sexually intimate,
yeah.
we are one. That is the
Mhm.
closest, that is the only time that we are literally one. That is the closest that we can ever and will ever be able to be.
Mhm.
And so, obviously, that is not what the enemy wants. The enemy is all about division, separation,
Mhm.
not connectedness, and all of the other things that is opposite to connection
Yeah.
and closeness and oneness and wholeness.
Mhm.
And so, just whatever you can do whatever you can do. Do not let the enemy have this one. It's bigger than us fighting over it.
Mhm.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
It is bigger than that. It don't have anything to do with us fighting, but it has everything to do with us fighting against what the enemy is trying to do in our
Mhm.
marriages. Because if the enemy can get us to stay disconnected, then of what use are we outside of here?
Mm. Yeah.
We're not, if we're not connected, then we're not effective enough to encourage other couples and to show other people what what the connection is all about and what God can do in our lives and the
Mhm.
power that we have when we stay connected for the kingdom. So it's all spiritual
Yeah. It is.
at the end of the day.
It is. Let me say this last thing. This is very important. This is something I probably should have said earlier. Let me say this last thing. Very, very important. If your desire is not as high as your spouse, there is nothing wrong with
It's
you.
not a bad thing. Yeah.
Let's be clear before we get out of here on that.
Mm.
What we are not saying is that you are
Something's wrong
trying
with
to
you.
figure out and push your spouse to be like you.
Correct.
That's not what's happening here.
Yeah. Good point.
What you are doing is having a conversation so that you can learn about your spouse and take the information that you learn to craft strategy on how to work something that works for you both.
Hmm. Yep.
It is not about me telling her, "Hey,
You
I
got to
came
want
in
it as much
right.
as I
I
do.
came in this wanting it 2 times a day. So you need no, hold on, back up, fam. Like that's not what we're trying to do here. But sex is very important to me.
Hmm.
Here's why it's important to me.
Hmm.
Here's what it does for me. Help me understand what's happening with you. So now we can take that information and leverage
And
it
create
to
something.
create something that works for us.
Yep.
So let me just put that out there, because what I do not want somebody to do after watching a show that says we should have a conversation about how much sex we having is for you to berate your spouse about the fact that they don't
They
want
don't
sex
want
as
it
much
as
as you
much
do,
as you. Yeah.
because that ain't gonna go nowhere either.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was
Good
very
point.
important to say
Yeah.
before we get out of here. But it is important that you have the conversation.
Yeah.
So if you haven't had it already, have it. If it's not an issue, that's wonderful. But you still need to have conversations about everything else that's going on with you, because I love what you said. It's a team.
It's a team.
It's a team. And I remember playing basketball as a youngster, and the coach would fuss at us, man. Y'all ain't talking to each other.
Mm.
How you gonna be a team and you ain't even saying nothing to each other? Y'all just running back and down, running up and down the court, and you ain't saying nothing. You don't see that he's open, he's waving his hands, but he's not saying nothing. Like, y'all gotta talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're a team.
Yeah. And pray about it too, guys. Pray about it. Pray to God for yourself.
Mhm.
God, show me what to do. Show me what it is about me. Pray individually to God,
Mhm.
but also pray together
Mhm.
about it.
Mhm.
It's important.
Yeah, that's good. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you for those of you who are watching or watching the replay. Again, the only ask we have is that you hit the share button. That's it. Hit the share button. If you happen to watch this and you're like, man, I do have a comment, go ahead and throw your comments in. We'll make sure that we
We'll still
acknowledge it.
read them and
We'll
acknowledge
read
it.
them. Go ahead and add, if you got any questions about it, ask questions. But we're gonna get out of here. Thank you for being the best part of this. We've already said what conversation is a catalyst for. So we hope that you have a fantastic rest of your Saturday night, a wonderful weekend, and just talk. Talk. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.